Hello again, DFI 1 students. Glad to be back with you again. We're going to start this fourth and final page of our boutique site. Looks like everyone's following along well. I like the way things are progressing. Looks like some handsome sites, some really interesting boutiques. Hopefully we can share the URL ultimately with everybody so you can get to enjoy what each other class member has done. This page, I'm starting with the store or gallery page because it's going to provide the building block for the last page, which is the contact page. And if you look just at your gallery page, I'm going to go as gallery alone and see this box here. This is the contact, the content about, content underscore about. That's the div that's the primary central part of the about page. The primary div that's the same for the store or gallery page. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all these pictures. We're going to keep the same content box and we're going to fill it with a form. So let me walk that through real quick, and I'm going to go over that form here in just another segment of this video. So I'm going to go back to design view so I can edit and split, and let me zoom in on the code just for a moment. And if we'll go down, I'm in the source code, not the CSS. By the way, disregard, I keep saying this, but I want you to not get confused by what I'm doing, but where I have style 4 and store 3 and about 2, I've got multiple copies of everything because of me doing this tutorial. So first thing I want you to do, I want you to say this page is functional for you. I haven't finished evaluating these to get it back to you, but whatever feedback you get from this, apply that to this page as well. But I want to start with this page in the store or the gallery, whatever you named it. Make sure it's open and then do a file, save as. And we're saving the exact same code, content, everything, but we want to call it. Okay, I'm going to call mine contact 4. I'm just making up another number because I've got these multiple. I don't want to overwrite my original contact page that I had as a kind of a different style. So that's what I want to do. So name yours contact.html, no caps, no spaces, and save that. And then Dreamweaver, look, make sure that you've got this. I'm going to close out the store because I don't want to accidentally overwrite that. I'm also going to go ahead and close about. I might leave my index file open in case I want to refer back to my main page, but I may not. Just to quickly scan over this code real quick. This is the source code, not the style sheet. Okay, the source code, we've got links to Google Web Fonts up here. We've got let me separate this just a little bit so you can see. You don't have to separate this if you don't want to, but this is my link to my Titanium Web Display font that I was using from Google Web Fonts. This is the link to my style sheet. See, it says style4.css. Yours should be style.css. I'm going to separate after this end break. This is my script that makes that rollover function work. We didn't write this, it just appeared when we created a rollover, okay? That entire script. Don't mess with that, just leave that alone. And then the head closes. Then we get into the body. And because we also have rollovers from all of these thumbnails that we did in the gallery, it created this too. This was since very early on the very first page where we had those 3 buttons. But that's okay, you can just leave that alone on this page, it won't hurt. Then we have our div header, which you guys have not had a problem with the header for a long time unless your links aren't working, so make sure those work. And the content about is where we're at. So for just a second, if you've got it organized neatly, this will be easy to do. But look at div ID equals content about. This is the entire container. The div opens here and it closes down here. We've got a paragraph of text that's up the top. I want to keep that paragraph because we're going to change the wording, but I want to keep that font and that style. I just want to keep that there, okay? The only thing I want us to remove from this page is those 9 or so thumbnails, okay? These rollover images. So I'm highlighting it in the code. Don't click on the image and start, deleting that way. Do it in the code. Oops, I collapsed my code there. So where it says ahref, images, pickle, floaty, blah, 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 those little lines of code, that's all of my images. I'm going to hit delete. Okay, now this is the area that I'm looking at. Yours should look something like this, where you've got your text up here. I'm going to click on the right hand side, so you'll see this collapsed. The only thing in my right hand side now is this block of text. All my images are gone, so there you have it. But that's what I want, and we're going to actually insert the form after this. And the form is going to be much like, do you remember how we did Google Maps on the second page? We're going to insert an iframe. So I've got the div ID equals header, the logo box, nav bar, etc. And I got two closed divs there. I'm going to put this second closed div down underneath so I can remember it's there. Okay. And then I've got div ID content about, which is where we're at. And right here is where I'm going to insert the form. So just know that. This is where we're going to insert the form. Now, what I want us to do, save this. File, save. We haven't done any editing to the CSS. We don't need to at this point. I'll change this text later to have something more meaningful because I want us to provide contact information. You know, you may want to have a fictitious address. I know you've already done that on a location page, but you can do it again on the contact page if somebody's going to actually snail mail you some kind of letter, or if somebody wanted to give you a phone call. You can have a phone number here. We'll just pretend to have all that information. But then we're also going to have a fillable form. And we're going to use a program called JotForm. So save this, save all, save. And I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to open up my browser, and I'm using Chrome. You can use Safari, Edge, whatever you like to use. And go to this URL. It's called jotform.com. Okay? Go to jotform.com, and you'll have to log in. You'll have to either create a login, or you can use your Facebook or Google. It just needs some kind of verification that you are who you said. Now, this is free. I think you can click on a couple buttons and not receive much spam at all from them, but it's a free thing. And of course, if it's free, they got to get something out of it. So they want to have access to your email to send you some stuff periodically. I don't get much from them at all. Now, jotform.com. And once you do that, you've logged in. I think I've logged in. Let me see. You can log in with Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and log in with Facebook. Let's see what happens. I thought I already logged in. Maybe it was Google. Okay, there we go. Now, I've already logged. I've done this a time or two, so I've got I've got a couple of forms already. I think there's a maximum to how many forms you can see. All right, once you create that, you can go to My Forms if you've got them, and I've already got one. You don't have any, create a new form. So I'm going to say, I wish I could just say create a new form. It doesn't give me that option here. Let me look. They've got some templates, but you actually just want to create one. But let's look at their form templates. Okay, let's just look at them real quickly. Form templates under templates, and you can see these, and you can kind of preview them. I don't want you to get terribly fancy with it, but I just want it to be something where you ask for their name, you ask for maybe their email address, you have a little box where they can ask you a question. This information request form looks kind of good, or this business registration form. You find one that you want. So I'm going to select this one that says, let me preview this. So this is kind of what it says: name, first name, last name, email, phone number, and then the information. I think that's pretty fair. Okay, so I'm going to say use this template. Now you can use a different one. It's going to have a submit button. Then I think we get to go edit the templates, what I'm hoping. Okay, so how do we edit this? If you want to add a form, you go here. There's Form Designer. Okay. I use another one, another form builder, Wufoo. It's called wufoo.com, but they started charging lately, so this is kind of new to me, this free one. But you see this form. It's a little dashboard so you can check styles, themes, layout, etc. Primarily what I want to do is I want to have this form exist on my page, but I want the type color to match. I want it to be a sans serif or serif font to match mine. I want that background color that's currently white. I want that to be clear, so I'm using the background of my content about area. The nice thing about this is this comes with a whole bunch of code, but you don't have to write the code. We can change these names, these categories, and so forth. So I'm going to say form color, page color, phone color, you choose. I'm going to go with this one here. It says color scheme. I don't know what that means. It says X, so that means the page color is white, but if I want the page color to be clear, what do I do? Oh, if you want to have an image. I thought that meant clear. Okay, here's a clear. Okay, what did they do? They're given a background color that's RGBA, and then it's, it's going to be clear. And then the form color, I don't know what the form means. If it's this part, I think it is. I'm going to leave that. Actually, I want it to be somewhat RGBA transparent. So if that is white, I'm going to say 35. I'm just guessing here. I'm saying 35% white, just so these little boxes right here will show up. Like I say, you can come back and edit it later after you preview it. The font color, I can't remember if I was using black for my type or I think it was white or something. I'm going to use black for a moment. And input background, that's actually this box. So I'm going to, I want my form image to be clear too. So I'm going to go back here and make it clear. Hopefully that's making sense to you. You'll still play with that. This is really quick and dirty for you. So once you do it, put it in your page and you go and say, oh, I need my type to be bigger or whatever. Advanced designer, if you want to play with that, I'm not going to go there now. Styles, the form width, I want the width to be 100%, okay, because it's going to, if it'll let me do that. I don't know if it'll let me, it says pixels only. If not, we can change this when we put the iframe in, but I don't know if it'll let me do percent. I'm going to try that. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to leave that at that 6, whatever that said before. I can't remember. So I'm going to say 690. Question spacing, fine. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave everything alone. Font, Arial, Helvetica. You can see it change on the fly as you go through it. Verdana. I'm going to select one, and now it's got some Google fonts. I don't know if the Google fonts are, mine was Titanium. Let's see if I can find it here by any chance. That would be awesome. Of course, it's not there, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and use Verdana. That's fine for me. And 14-point size. Change button style. That's this right here, the submit form. If you want to have color, I tell you what, I've got this green thing going on with my pickles, so I'm going to say green. And just go there. Themes. I'm going to leave that alone. Layout, classic form, card form. Now, you guys play with this. The card form is one where you click the form and the form pops up on the screen, kind of like a slideshow, where it pops up in front. It's kind of nice. I'm going to use classic for mine, just for this demonstration, okay? If I want to preview the form, I'm clicking up here on preview, if it'll let me. That's what it looks like on a white background. I see this gray shadow. I don't know that I really want that, so I want to make sure that that doesn't show up. So I'm going to turn the preview off, but I'm not sure where that came about. I'm going to see Advanced Designer real quick. I'm just kind of learning on the fly with you. Background, form, font options, label styles, line layout. I think this is all fine. I'm just not sure about the shadow. I'm going to come back and play with that later, okay? But here's the CSS. So that's kind of nice. You can actually, all right, How do I get out of there, Jerry? Ooh, back to Builder right here, far left. Okay, sorry about that. See, settings. Enter a short descriptive name for this form. Instead of saying information request form is, I'm going to say something like, we would love to hear from you. You can disable your form or you can keep it. We're going to leave it enabled. Create conditional logic. Not sure what that means. Show height of field, update, calculate, enable, require, skip to height of page, change thank you page. They will get an auto response when they send it. You can change the contact information there if you like. Redirect your email alerts according to the form entry. I want to make sure that the emails go to you, so I'm going to change, going to the third, it says emails. It's going to come to jjkeys@gmail. That's fine. If you want to edit that address, then do it here. Mobile notifications, that's up to you if you want to get a note, on your phone. And a thank you page, you want to show a thank you page. It says thank you, your submission has been received. You can edit that. Okay, I expect all of you will want to do that, but for the sake of time in the demo, I'm not going to get into all that. So I want to publish it. And notice I clicked on publish up here. There are three, there's some options here. I am looking for, I don't want to say copy the link. I actually want to embed it. So down here it says embed. Click there. And I'm looking for iframe. So embed and iframe. And then we copy this code because there's a big chunk of code here. So I'm going to say copy code. And it says it's copied to the clipboard. I'm going to go back to Dreamweaver. And remember in the code view where it says content about, I've got my introductory paragraph that I'm going to change and say something about, we look forward to hearing from you, etc. Here's how to contact us, etc. I'm coming down right in here before the close div. I'm going to insert that iframe. I'm going to paste, Control V, Command V. And the iframe is pasted. It should appear as a big long gray box in here, and it did. Let me go to live view and see if it shows. It might take a second to load. Okay. Well, looking at this, I can tell right now I want to go back to JotForm and I want to edit this. I want my text to be white. Did not even think about that. The rest of it I think is fine. This right here, it says create your own JotForm. That has to be there since it's a free service, and that's fine. Okay? That's quite fine. So don't forget that. All right, I'm going to say, file save. I'm going to tweak this a little bit, and then I'm going to tag on to the end of this video to show you the finished tweak of that. But that's the idea. So build this last page. Make sure that all of your pages actually link together, and before you turn this in, because you're going to turn the entire folder, and it should be the entire site this next time. All right. I may add a little bit to the end of this to show you my finished form. All right. Thank you, guys.